female, that same afternoon, my mind has said to me that I now feel like a male. But this doesn't stem due to the mother's lack of responsibility. This stems from the male's lack of responsibility. Because all men want to do nowadays is run after their desires. They just want to chase after women, to be quite frank with you. And then, you know who is the sacrifice? The children in the house. That's why Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha says, the two most things that I fear for you, and I mentioned these on the first day, is following your desires and extended hopes. We all want to be men, but no one is putting in the effort to be a man. You know, the Christmas period comes, the Muslims, mashallah, are celebrating Christmas better than the Christians. The Muslims are celebrating Christmas better than the Christians. Christmas trees in the house, presents on Christmas Day for their children. And I swear by Allah, these are the same families that have not taught their children the name of the 12 Imams. They know how many reindeer Santa Claus has on his sleigh, but they don't know how many Imams we have. And then we say, why has our society become like this? Where is your responsibility? Why are you lacking responsibility? Oh, I can't, it's a bit hard, women these days. It's not the woman's fault. When the cats are away, rats and mice come to play. When you don't be a man in your house, of course your woman's going to make you. She's going to ride you like Santa rides his sleigh. She's going to control you. Because there's no responsibility in the house. The second responsibility is that the father spends time with his children. You think you're a man because you have 6 kids? You think you might have 10 kids, you're a man? You know, chihuahuas, when he gives birth to 6, 7, 8 chihuahuas. Does that mean that the father is a man? Just because he gets 6, 8 kids in one hit? Doesn't mean you're a man. A man is someone that raises his children. Not whenever his child cries, he gives him an iPad to shut the child up. That's not a man. That's a boy. See, we lack in spreading this message to society today, that our men have become like little boys. Who is a strong man in your eyes? Someone that has muscles. Not someone that fights his desires. Someone that has muscles in society today, he's a man. They say, you know what's very sad? Young boys, 19, 20, 21, no jobs. I don't have a job. And this same boy says to me, when I'm 30, 40, I want to retire. Retire on what? On Centrelink? You see, these are all the problems that no one is mentioning, and in the end, everyone cries out, who's going to go to the protest against the rainbow community? Be a man, step up, take responsibility for your house. That's a problem. We lack responsibility in the house. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, in a beautiful khutbah in Nahj al-Balagha, sermon number 63, and in some copies of Nahj al-Balagha, sermon number 62. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, beware. Surely this world is a place which protection cannot be sought except while you're in it. You cannot be protected from this dunya except while you are in it. What does that mean? It means, in our sense, if you want to be a man, you cannot be a man if you're not present at home. You go out, 11, 12, 1 a.m., you come back, your wife's been with the children. God knows what's happened in the house, and you're kicking back at cafes, smoking and doing whatever you want to do. And in the end, you complain, my children, why did they come out the way that they came out? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, the only way to safeguard yourself from this dunya is by being present in the dunya. The only way that you can build your family is to be present within your family. And then the Imam alayhi salam said, the action which is performed only for this world cannot secure salvation in the afterlife. I'm working and I'm grabbing all of this money so that I can retire by the time I'm 35. And I've forgotten that there is something called the akhirah, the afterlife. I'm just building for this life. That's why the Imam says on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks about 5. Number 1, how did you spend your youth? What were you doing in your youth? Number 2, how did you spend your money? What did you do with your money? That same brother that says, I want to retire when I'm 35, maybe because he wants to go to Hawza and become someone that knows how to raise his family. No, that same brother wants to go and travel the world when he's 35 and retire. And what is he left for his afterlife? He'll be lucky if it's a tissue. And then the Imam says, people are tested in this world through calamities. Calamity. The Imam alayhi salam says that whomever wants to take my wilayah or the wilayah of Ali ibn Abi Talib, then let him wear calamities like he wears, as we would say, as he wears a hoodie or a jumper. Because you are going to be drowned in calamities. But that's the difference between a boy and a man. A man knows how to survive calamities. A boy doesn't. And I will say it again. Most of society today, they're boys, they're not men. Ask yourself, do I want to be a boy or do I want to be a man? Do whatever you want. Say whatever you want. Eat whatever you want. But don't call yourself a man. One day Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam is walking and he hears people calling themselves Shia, 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 Shia. So then someone comes and he says to him, O son of Rasulullah, mashallah, you have a lot of Shia. He starts laughing. He says, what are you on about? I have a lot of Shia. He says, إِنَّمَا أَصْحَابُ جَعْفَرْ مِنْكُمْ لَقَلِيلٌ. That the true companions of Ja'far al-Sadiq amongst the men in al-Madinah are a minority. إِنَّمَا أَصْحَابُ جَعْفَرْ مَنْ اشْتَدَّ وَرَعُ. That indeed the companions of Ja'far al-Sadiq are those that have excessive piety. They've exceeded this dunya. They're men, they're not boys. And then the Imam beautifully summarizes the dunya. He says, for the intelligent one, for the man, not the boy, not someone that chases after his desires and lets his wife do whatever she wants. For the man, for the one that has intellect, this world is like a shade. One moment, the shade covers everything. It's spread out, it's extended. But soon, the shade shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and contracts until the shade is no longer present and the sun reaches everything. It's like you're sitting with 5 boys. All of you boys are in a circle. Everyone is in the shade. And then after a while, the shade starts. The first guy is in the shade. The second guy is in the shade. The other 3, the sun has reached them. The ones that are in the shade say to the ones that are in the sun, don't get up, sit down. They say, look, the sun has reached us. It hasn't reached you, but it has reached us. That's the dunya. Everyone gets their go. Everyone gets their time. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, I found the knowledge of man in 4 things. The first one is to know your Lord, to know who Allah is, to know who created you, and to know what He has done, to know the blessings that He has bestowed upon you, and to know what He expects from you. Allah expects you to be a man, not a boy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects you to have responsibility. Not to sit on your phone and ignore your family, ignore your wife, ignore your children, chase after your desires. And the 4th thing is to know what will expel you from His kingdom, from His service. What is it that I can do that will result in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expelling me from His kingdom? Once again, when the man lacks responsibility, rats and mice come to play. When a man no longer has ghira in the community, and I've seen this a lot on social media. Most of the people in the community are boys. They're not men. Everyone's going to be upset from what I'm going to say. If Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam today was to live in our society, will he be classified as a man or as a boy? Wallah, in the eyes of society, they will label him as a boy and not a man. The greatest creation of Allah. Why? Because a man in society today is someone that is strong, someone that has money, someone that can hit up more than one woman. That's a man in society today. And then the same woman says, I wish I was in the time of Rasulullah. I wish I was married to Ali ibn Abi Talib. I wish I was married to Rasulullah. Sit in your spot. Sit with your Chanel bag on the side. Al-Allam al-Majlisi mentions a narration. He says one day Rasulullah was traveling. Lady Fatima came back and she was wearing a necklace, a gold necklace. Rasulullah sees her, he becomes angry, he doesn't speak to her, he goes straight to the masjid. Lady Fatima thought, what did I do? She's a ma'sooma. What did I do? I'm an infallible. Did I do something wrong? Rasulullah comes back, he says to her, oh Fatima, we aren't like the rest of the people. We don't show off with our gold and everything. Today, it's everyone's right. It's a sister's right. It's from within her right for her husband to spoil her and do everything. But then you have, subhanAllah, there was a scholar back in Basra, in Iraq. He says a couple came to get divorced. She says to him, Shaykh, I want to get divorced. He says, why? He says, I don't feel like there is love between me and my husband. He says to her, I'm from Basra. I'm a bit, as they say, I don't want to use the term in case those that don't understand English will get offended from the term that they used. So, I'm Arab-minded. Explain to me, what do you mean there is no more love? Shaykh, she doesn't, he doesn't take me out. He doesn't buy me gold. He doesn't say 1, 2, and 3. He says, really? Is this where we've reached? That this means, we end the relationship because he doesn't buy me a Chanel bag, doesn't buy me 1, 2, and 3. We're materialistic. Materialism. And the same sister later on cries, why is my son identifying as a woman now? And vice versa. When there is no more men in society, this is what takes place. So you need to be a man. Bring everything together. Hold yourself together. Go out, get a job, start working. Build yourself, build your family. Build that house that the Ahlul Bayt want from their Shia. Be a man. Enough is enough. Stop being a boy. Be a man. You're what, 19, 20, you're probably under 30 and you're complaining about how society is. Society isn't going to get any better. Build yourself. Build your family. Society doesn't care about your family. I mentioned yesterday, society is trying to manipulate your families. Pull your socks up. Be a man. And then we have the likes of the brothers that... What do I say? What do I say? How do I label these guys? What do I call them? Calling you a boy is an insult, is more than enough of an insult. What do I call you? The same man that allows his wife to put her pictures on social media. What are you, an imbecile? Get offended. I don't care. But this isn't that the Ahlul Bayt would want from you. One day Rasulullah, Salman comes to Rasulullah. He says, Ya Rasulullah, give me advice. He says, go to Fatima. Salman goes to Fatima. Oh Fatima, give advice for the community. You know what Lady Fatima says? خير للمرأة أن لا ترى رجل ولا يراها رجل. The greatest thing for a female, Lady Fatima says, is that the female doesn't see a man that isn't mahram to her, and she doesn't see a man that is not mahram to her. The story of the blind man that comes and he comes with Rasulullah to the door of Fatima. The blind man comes, Rasulullah knocks on the door. He says, "Oh Fatima, I am he. And with me is a blind man." She says, "Oh father, wait, let me put my hijab on." He says to her, "Oh Fatima, but the man is blind and we're behind the door." You know what Fatima says? She says, "Oh father, but what if the man smells me? He smells that there is a female." Where are our sisters today, mashallah? Perfume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she walks out in front of everyone. And her husband, his head is high. "This is my wife. Come look at her." We have a lot of boys in society, but we have no men. Her husband has a moustache. He has a moustache, but he posts his wife's picture on social media. We have a lot of boys in society, but we don't have men. When the cats are away, the rats and mice come to play. And then you complain why society has failed. It's because we have boys, not men, in society. Hussein, do we have enough time to finish? Can I keep going? 5 minutes? Okay. It's important that we mention these things. It's very important. Because we all have sisters. And we want our sisters to be married to men, not boys. It starts within your own circles. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change a community if they don't change themselves. If you don't have that irada to change the community, okay, enough is enough, I want to be a man now. That's what we need. Get up and get a job. When you get a job, build your family. Don't go chasing women left and right. Be a man. A man is someone that knocks on the door of the woman from the front door. He doesn't enter through the window. Because you're not a man. You're a boy. If you hit up women left, right and center on Snapchat and Facebook, you're not a man. You're a boy. Just because you have a beard doesn't mean you're a man. You're a boy. Be a man. Pull your socks up. Go get a job. Then knock on her father's door and then get married to her. That's what a man does. But we don't have that in today's society. We don't care about that. I don't care. And then, when the rainbow community starts to push these laws, you start crying and hitting on your head, "My children, my children." Be a man, not a boy. the first thing that you need to do is hold yourself together. Build yourself. Help those around you. And don't give attention to things that don't deserve attention. Don't give attention to your desires. It's hard. No one said that avoiding your desires is easy. No one said that. But Amir al-Mu'mineen says that if you give in to your desires, that's when trouble happens. If you give in to your desires, that's where the danger takes place. But the problem is, these boys out there, they are telling the female, go out, wear makeup with your crocodile lashes and with your claws on your hand, and you run society. And then that same boy complains, why have our women gone crazy? Inshallah ta'ala. May Allah make us steadfast on this path. This is the end of the English lectures for the night. And inshallah, all the boys pull their socks up and they become men and they start paying attention to their houses. Not going out, staying out every night, and you lack responsibility in your house. Allahumma ajjal li waliyyika al-faraj وامنن علينا برضاه وهب لنا رأفته ورحمته ودعاءه وصلى الله على محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Just before I finish, by Allah, I bet I'm going to hear a lot of complaints about everything that I said. If you complain, you're a boy, you're not a man. صلى على محمد وآل محمد.